What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Darren Till has publicly unloaded on Paulo Costa following news that Costa has withdrawn from his recently announced fight against Bruno Feita at UFC 326. The bout had only been made official days earlier, making the sudden pullout even more frustrating for fans and fighters alike. After hearing the announcement, Till took to social media platform X to express his anger, delivering one of the harshest verbal attacks Costa has faced from a fellow fighter. Till accused Costa of lacking professionalism and respect for the sport, suggesting that his repeated withdrawals and controversies have damaged his credibility within the UFC. Till criticized Costa's commitment, claiming that he relies more on controversy than consistency inside the octagon. He implied that Costa should consider walking away from competition altogether if he cannot honor fight agreements, stating that the sport deserves athletes who take their responsibilities seriously. The former title challenger went further, questioning Costa's overall legacy in the UFC. Till argued that despite the hype surrounding Costa, his performances have not lived up to expectations and that his career has been defined more by excuses than results. He even compared Costa's failed title opportunity unfavorably to his own, emphasizing that Costa's championship bid was among the most disappointing in recent memory. Till concluded his rant by labeling Costa as unreliable and unworthy of his position on the roster, urging him to either recommit fully to fighting or step aside entirely. The comments have since sparked heavy debate among fans, with reactions split between those who agree with Till's blunt honesty and those who believe he went too far. As of now, Paulo Costa has not issued a direct response to Till's comments, but the exchange has added yet another chapter to Costa's turbulent UFC narrative and reignited discussions about fighter accountability and professionalism at the highest level of mixed martial arts. Before we jump into the next story, we have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon. It really helps us out and ensures you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Tom Aspinall has revealed a surprising detail from earlier in his career, confirming that he once turned down a UFC contract in his mid-20s because he felt he was not yet ready for the biggest stage in mixed martial arts. In a recent interview, Aspinall explained that the UFC had offered him a contract when he was around 25 years old, but he made the conscious decision to decline. Despite believing his skill level was already high, he felt his overall experience was not sufficient to compete at the elite level. Aspinall said he understood the significant difference in fight experience required to succeed in the UFC, and wanted more time to develop before making the jump. Instead, he chose to continue competing with Cage Warriors, where he aimed to gain as much experience as possible. However, after only a few fights, Aspinall began struggling to secure opponents. He explained that it was not necessarily because he was too good, but rather because there simply were not many heavyweights available who were willing or able to fight him. Eventually, the lack of opportunities left him with little choice but to accept the UFC offer, which he did just a couple of fights later. Aspinall credited the decision to the strong support system around him, noting that his team helped guide him toward the right move at the right time. Looking back, he believes the extra experience played a key role in preparing him for success inside the octagon. During the same conversation, Aspinall also spoke about his past experience sparring with boxing heavyweight champion Tyson Fury. He revealed that he trained with Fury on numerous occasions, beginning when he was just 22 years old. Aspinall described Fury as an exceptional athlete and a genuinely great person, adding that although he is an MMA fighter and not a boxer, the crossover training was extremely valuable. He explained that while boxing and MMA are different sports, striking is still a crucial part of mixed martial arts. Aspinall said Fury is incredibly strong, massive in size, and hits extremely hard. However, he noted that it is difficult to compare punching power directly, as MMA fighters use small 4-ounce gloves, while boxers train and compete with much heavier gloves. The revelation offers insight into Aspinall's disciplined mindset and long-term approach to his career, highlighting the patience and preparation that helped shape him into one of the UFC's top heavyweights today. Move on to another news. Israel Adesanya has revealed that his mindset has shifted significantly, explaining that he is no longer driven by the pursuit of world titles. Instead, the former UFC middleweight champion says his focus has moved toward freedom, creativity, and personal fulfillment inside the octagon. Reflecting on his career, Adesanya discussed some of his most satisfying victories, particularly his dominant win over Paulo Costa in 2020. He described that performance as the most technically perfect fight of his career, emphasizing how he took virtually no damage while inflicting all of it. According to Adesanya, the Costa fight represented his cleanest work at the highest level, showcasing precision, control, and flawless execution. While acknowledging that he has had several standout wins across kickboxing and MMA, Adesanya highlighted 2 UFC fights that stand out emotionally. The first was his victory over Alex Pereira, a rival who had defeated him multiple times across different combat sports. Adesanya explained that overcoming Pereira, after years of setbacks, was deeply satisfying due to the long-running storyline and personal significance. However, when comparing the two, he admitted that the Costa fight felt sweeter purely from a technical standpoint. When asked about his future goals and whether he is still chasing championship belts, Adesanya offered an honest and revealing response. He shared that while out in public in Auckland, fans often ask if he has retired. Initially, he felt the need to clarify that he was simply taking a break, but now, he jokingly agrees, knowing people will see him again when his name appears on a fight poster. Adesanya made it clear that belts no longer define his motivation. With multiple championship titles already at home, he explained that his desire now is simply to fight and express himself the way he did on his rise to the top. Although he believes he performed well while defending the title, he wants to compete with less pressure and more creativity. He added that he wants to take risks again, recalling moments earlier in his career when he attempted unconventional techniques without hesitation. Adesanya said he hopes to bring back that fearless style, focusing on exciting performances rather than championship status, signaling a new chapter in his fighting journey. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev has officially responded to recent comments made by Ilia Topuria, addressing the tension that has been building between the two fighters. Topuria had taken shots at both Makhachev and Khabib Nurmagomedov the previous week, accusing them of arrogance and stating that he would like to submit Islam in front of Khabib. He went even further by suggesting he would confront Khabib as well if given the chance. Speaking on the situation, Makhachev took a calm and measured approach. He acknowledged that Topuria appears to carry some form of resentment toward him and his team, but suggested that the issue could be resolved either before a potential fight or sometime in the future. Makhachev noted that Topuria is currently taking a break and believes that whatever frustration he is dealing with may eventually be addressed inside the cage. According to Islam, Topuria seems unhappy about something, and it is only a matter of time before the situation becomes clear. Makhachev also offered an honest technical comparison between Topuria and former two-division champion Conor McGregor. While he admitted that Topuria may possess greater raw power, Islam emphasized that McGregor's counterstriking ability was on a different level. He praised McGregor's timing, patience, and precision, explaining how McGregor would draw opponents in, force them to miss, and punish them instantly with his left hand. In Islam's view, that level of counterpunching was truly special. In addition to addressing Topuria, Makhachev revealed details about his return to competition and plans to defend his welterweight title. He confirmed that the UFC offered him a fight in January, but he declined due to timing issues. Islam explained that he had already completed a long training camp, and that accepting a January bout would not have allowed him adequate preparation. As a result, he made it clear to the UFC that January was not an option. Makhachev stated that a return after Ramadan would be more realistic, mentioning April, May, or June as ideal timeframes. He also added that if the UFC wanted to schedule the fight for a major venue such as the White House card, he would be willing to wait. While the UFC did not disclose his potential opponent, Islam believes the offer was likely for a fight against Michael Morales rather than Kamaru Usman, though he stressed that this was only his personal assumption and not confirmed by the promotion or his manager. Move on to another news. Arman Tsarukyan continues to showcase his relentless work ethic as he prepares for a demanding stretch of upcoming competition across multiple combat disciplines. The lightweight contender is currently gearing up for 2 separate bouts scheduled just weeks apart, highlighting both his versatility and commitment to high-level grappling. Tsarukyan is set to compete in a grappling match against Shara Bullet Magomedov at Hype FC on December 30, followed by a wrestling match against former PFL champion Lance Palmer at RAF 5 on January 10. With these events approaching quickly, Arman has intensified his training, focusing heavily on strength, balance, and positional control. In a recent social media post, Tsarukyan shared striking footage of himself drilling wrestling techniques on top of ice. The unconventional training method immediately caught the attention of fans and fellow fighters, as it demonstrated an extreme approach to improving balance, footwork, and body control. Wrestling on a slippery surface forces constant engagement of stabilizing muscles and demands precise weight distribution, making it one of the most challenging environments for grappling drills. The footage highlights Tsarukyan's willingness to push beyond standard training routines in order to sharpen his skills. Practicing takedowns and control positions on ice requires heightened awareness and adaptability, traits that translate directly to elite-level wrestling and MMA competition. The drill also reinforces mental toughness, as maintaining composure in such unstable conditions mirrors the unpredictability of live competition. Tsarukyan's preparation reflects his broader philosophy as a fighter seeking discomfort to gain an edge. By exposing himself to extreme training scenarios, he aims to ensure that nothing inside the cage feels unfamiliar or overwhelming. The approach has earned him praise from fans who admire his discipline and creativity, as well as from analysts who view this level of preparation as a sign of championship potential. As Tsarukyan balances back-to-back grappling and wrestling matchups, his ice-based training serves as a statement of intent. He is not merely staying active, he is evolving. With his name continuing to circulate among the lightweight elite, this unique preparation reinforces the idea that Arman Tsarukyan is leaving no detail unchecked as he sharpens his game for the highest level of competition. Move on to another news. Rockhold has shared his honest reaction to Tyron Woodley's recent knockout loss to Anderson Silva, admitting that the outcome did not come as a surprise to him. Speaking during an interview with Submission Radio, the former UFC middleweight champion offered a candid assessment of Woodley's current state as a fighter. Rockhold pointed out that Woodley has not secured a victory since 2018, when he submitted Darren Till while reigning as the UFC welterweight champion. Since then, Woodley's performances across combat sports have raised questions about whether he still possesses the sharpness and competitive edge that once defined his championship run. According to Rockhold, Woodley no longer appears fully engaged at the level required to compete at the highest stage. He explained that fighting at an elite level demands constant awareness, sharp reactions, and the ability to read and respond to strikes in real time. In Rockhold's view, Woodley is no longer operating with that same level of mental clarity inside competition. While delivering his critique, Rockhold made it clear that his comments were not personal. He emphasized that Woodley remains a close friend and someone he respects deeply. However, Rockhold believes that Woodley's recent performances suggest he is no longer fully present during fights, describing it as if he is going through the motions rather than actively processing the action in front of him. Rockhold elaborated by saying that successful fighters must consciously see punches coming, react defensively, and return strikes with intent. In his opinion, Woodley is no longer doing those things consistently, which has made him vulnerable against experienced opponents. The loss to Silva, Rockhold suggested, was a reflection of a deeper issue rather than a single bad night. The comments have sparked discussion among fans about Woodley's future in combat sports and whether it may be time for the former champion to step away. While opinions remain divided, Rockhold's remarks underline a difficult reality faced by many veteran fighters, knowing when the competitive fire and sharpness that once fueled success may no longer be there. As of now, Tyron Woodley has not publicly responded to Rockhold's assessment, but the conversation continues around legacy, longevity, and the challenges of transitioning away from elite competition. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev has weighed in on the ongoing debates surrounding elite striking in mixed martial arts, offering high praise for Conor McGregor while subtly downplaying comparisons to Ilia Topuria. In a recent interview with a Russian media outlet, Makhachev shared his perspective on the technical differences between the two fighters, particularly when it comes to striking ability. According to Makhachev, while Ilia Topuria is undeniably dangerous and possesses significant offensive power, Conor McGregor remains superior in terms of pure technical striking. Islam explained that Topuria may have more raw punching power, but McGregor's effectiveness as a counter-striker placed him on an entirely different level during his prime. Makhachev highlighted McGregor's exceptional timing as one of his greatest strengths. He noted how McGregor was able to remain patient, draw opponents into exchanges, and punish mistakes with precision rather than relying solely on aggression. Islam emphasized that McGregor's ability to make opponents miss before landing clean counters was a defining trait that separated him from most strikers in the sport. Speaking from personal experience as a southpaw himself, Makhachev pointed out that McGregor's mastery of the left hand was especially impressive. He described how McGregor consistently positioned himself just outside striking range, waited for the right moment, and delivered devastating left hands as opponents overextended. In Islam's view, this level of timing, distance management, and accuracy is something very few fighters have ever achieved. While acknowledging Topuria's rising status and knockout power, Makhachev made it clear that technical nuance matters just as much as force. He suggested that McGregor's striking success was built on intelligence, rhythm, and anticipation rather than brute strength alone. Islam's comments have sparked fresh discussion among fans, reigniting comparisons between different generations of elite strikers. As Topuria continues to rise, and McGregor's legacy remains firmly established, Makhachev's analysis offers a fighter's perspective on what truly defines greatness: on the feet precision, patience, and the ability to capitalize on the smallest mistakes. The remarks add another layer to ongoing debates within the MMA community, particularly as new contenders emerge and past legends continue to influence how striking excellence is measured inside the octagon. Move on to another news. The MMA guru has spoken in detail about the origins of his public feud with Nina Drama, offering his perspective during a recent appearance on the Overdogs podcast alongside Mike Perry. During the interview, he explained how the disagreement began and why it eventually escalated into a very public back and forth. According to the MMA guru, the conflict started after he made a joke that Nina Drama took offense to. He claimed that the remark was intended as humor and not meant to be taken seriously, but Nina did not see it that way. He stated that her reaction was intense and personal, alleging that she accused him of being widely disliked within UFC circles and portrayed him as an offensive figure in the MMA community. The MMA guru responded by releasing a video criticizing Nina directly, saying he felt unfairly targeted and misrepresented. He admitted that his response was blunt and aggressive, but defended it as a reaction to what he viewed as an exaggerated and hostile response from her side. Beyond the initial disagreement, the MMA guru also criticized Nina Drama's style of content creation. He described her interviews and interactions with fighters as immature and questioned the overall tone and professionalism of her approach. He specifically pointed to the dynamic of her boyfriend filming behind the camera, suggesting that it creates an awkward atmosphere during interviews. While he acknowledged that the details of their relationship are personal and not his business, he implied that the setup raises questions about boundaries and presentation. He went on to say that Nina's content represents a broader trend he has noticed within MMA media, where entertainment and shock value sometimes outweigh substance and respect for the sport. Although he clarified that he does not take issue with Nina personally outside of the conflict, he maintained that he finds her content direction strange and poorly executed. The interview sparked renewed debate among fans, with some agreeing with the MMA guru's criticism and others defending Nina Drama's approach as lighthearted and engaging. Shortly after the comments circulated, Nina posted a video of her own, signaling that the situation remains unresolved and continues to divide opinions within the MMA community. The exchange highlights ongoing tensions between traditional MMA commentary and newer, personality-driven media, reflecting the evolving landscape of combat sports coverage.